What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? We are here today. Happy Monday again. Some of you already saw me on my other channel. Happy Monday again. We are here to talk about Married to Medicine. What are we on? Season 12, episode. Oh, dang nabbit. Oh, well. Episode 12, I think. Hold on. I done dropped my. Hold on. Let me pick up my remote chair before I forget it's on the floor and I be done stepped on it or something. Oh, Lord. Okay. Episode 5. I thought it was episode 5. I just wanted to make sure. But season 12, episode 5. So let's get into it. So look, you guys. I'm gonna be honest and tell y'all, by the time this episode is over, I don't know if y'all gonna like me very much. I'm probably gonna have some unpopular opinions about some things, but I don't know. We open up the scene. We have Toya and we have Eugene. Let me just say something. Listen. The fact that Eugene was apologizing to Toya and begging her to come and talk to him confirms everything that Dr. Heavenly said. When Dr. Heavenly said that Eugene liked being talked to like that, when Dr. Heavenly said, and I'm not talking about everything. When I say everything, y'all, please don't take that literally. I don't mean everything because we know that Dr. Heavenly ass ain't always right. But as far as Toya and Eugene are concerned, right? Like, Eugene, you clearly don't have, like, the fact that you felt like you, and I'm all for saying let's talk because, again, they're married and they need to work through whatever they need to work through. But the fact that you felt like you needed to apologize to Toya when I felt like Toya disrespected you. She did. And for Toya to be like, all I said was lead the men. What was so wrong about lead the men? Toya, that is not what you said, and that's not how you said it. And you know that's not how you said it. You know that you already had an attitude, and Eugene gonna say, I didn't understand how important that party was to you. One thing my mother always told me was, let a man be a man. Toya, you don't know how to let that man be a man. You have that alpha energy. You have that takeover energy. You don't know how to let a man be a man. And let me tell you who you need to take lessons from. And I'm going to get to them later. But in this situation, I'm going to tell you who you need to take lessons from. You need to take lessons from Quad. Quad knows how to let a man be a man. We did not know. Us as the public did not know just how bad things were between Quad and her husband until they were breaking up, literally. Even with King, she allows King to be the man, even though Quad is a very alpha woman. She's a very alpha woman. But Quad knows how to let a man be a man. And I think some women feel like that means being weak or that means being... No, it means if you want the man to lead the house, you have to trust that he's leading in all areas. You can't pick and choose when and where he leads. Hey, kiddies. Hey, boo. How are you? Hope you had a great holiday and a happy new year and all that good stuff. You know, like, you can't pick and choose when and where that man is going to lead. If you are saying my man leads this home and my man leads this house, then you got to let him do it. You have to let him do it. And in that let's go back to the party for a moment. In that situation at the party, I get it. There's certain, and I understand production. Like, we know that they have to play these games. We know that there are things that production makes them do. Because at a regular party, people just chill, right? People chill. And sometimes we play party games, and sometimes we don't. But generally speaking, we say whoever wants to play, we're going to play. And whoever doesn't want to play, y'all can do whatever. But to make it a mandatory situation, we know that that's production. Eugene, you know that it's production, right? But still, in that moment, Toya, the way you came at your husband was wrong. And I'm listening to them have this conversation. And Eugene is like handling her with kid gloves. Well, I mean, there's a way that, you could have said that. I mean, that's not how you said it, Toya. Well, and then somehow it became Heavenly's fault. Now, again, Heavenly do a lot of stuff. And there are things that are 100% Heavenly's fault. But that wasn't Heavenly's fault. Now, Heavenly might have been throwing little jabs and might have been throwing a little bit of, throwing a little fuel on the fire. But baby, the fire was already burning. The fire was already burning. And we're not going to act like Heavenly didn't have a reason to come in hot. Now we found out in this episode that they had been arguing in the damn group chat and both of them went low. We're going to get to that later, but both of them went low. Both of them went low. And it always amazes me in an argument how people pick and choose what part they're going to be offended by. If she said something and somebody said something back, you don't get to pick and choose what part you offended by. If listen, I always tell y'all, fair exchange ain't never been no robbery. If me and you are arguing, if I say something nasty about Chuck and Chuck says something nasty about me, and then Chuck talks about me being short and fat, and I talk about him being tall and whatever, you know what I mean? That's me and Chuck arguing. We going back and forth. We giving lick for lick, blow for blow, round for round. Now, for y'all to be on the outside and pick and choose what part of the argument was worse than the other part, or what part of the argument was mad, I'm going to go on and say it before I forget to say it, because y'all know sometimes I forget to say stuff. Let me say it while I'm thinking about it. At the end of this episode, when those women are arguing and they're talking about how Dr. Heavenly put in that text message that Toya needs to apologize to Eugene on camera, and everybody acted like, oh, that was the shade right there. Oh, that was the shade. That was the shade. That was the shade. That was the shade. No, not when they showed me a screenshot of Toya saying to Dr. Heavenly, yeah, you need to hug your sons tight, and you need to do it on camera too. She threw the jab. Heavenly returned volley. So when they made it seem like the on-camera part was the part that was... Toya said on camera first. Now, I will say, Heavenly, you talking about that woman's husband penis, that's too much. I'm sorry. I do think it's too much. Now, I do think that's too much, Heavenly. You going there. But Toya, to be fair, you the one that told the women your husband penis was small. You the one that told them women that your husband had a little penis. They wouldn't have it as a dig, Toya, if you didn't put it out there. Because I don't think none of them women was worried about Eugene's penis size until you told them women that Eugene had a small penis. Now, we're going to get back to that later on in the episode, but I had to say it while I was thinking about it. Okay, I had to say it while I was thinking about it. So, moving right along. The next scene, I love this next scene. And let me tell you something. This next scene is exactly what I was telling you guys when I talk about there are certain women on this show, it's time for them to retire. It's time for them to take a step back and allow the other women, some of these newbies, to take the wheel. We had Dr. Mimi, we had Brandy, and we had Angel. And what I loved was that all three of those women have young children. So they had a play date. We can't get that from Heavenly, Simone, Toya, and Jackie. And that's not a dig on Jackie not having children. I'm talking about just the age group, right? We got a play date with those kids. We now have a new generation coming on that we can see these kids grow up, just like we saw Simone's kids and Heavenly's kids and Toya's kids. Like we have so that's what I mean. And I think Married to Medicine, actually, I was talking about this. If you guys didn't catch the what is it? Who else is gonna beat it? What else is going on? I always get it. It's a podcast that I watch called Who Else Is Gonna Be There? Who All Is Gonna Be There? And then it's What Else Is Going On? And I always get the acronym, so my bad. But we talked about this weekend on the podcast when I was saying we would talk about that it's time for Potomac it's time for a refresh on Potomac. The problem is the pond, I think, is shallow. It's not a lot of people ready and willing to get on these housewives shows anymore, knowing what they've seen happen to the people before them, divorces and all that other kind of stuff. So I don't think too many people are running to be on the show, right? But with Married to Medicine, they're still getting quality women who want to be on this show, who desire to be on the show, who are quality women. And I think they have a winner this season. I think they have a winner with this. I mean, the season ain't over. We only 5 episodes in. But I loved this scene. I love the fact that Dr. Mimi was talking about her son and the challenges with her son and saying, listen, I love my baby, but he's challenging. You know, he has autism and he has these things where he has been on play dates where he's broken TVs and we just had to go on buy a new TV. She said, if my daughter being here, I can relax and I can talk to you guys. And if my son were here, I wouldn't be able to do this because I'd have to keep an eye on him and I have to make sure that he's okay and that he's not getting triggered and things like that. And what I love that Brandy said, girl, bring him. We got you. I love that. Now, I don't know if Brandy understands exactly what she's biting off, but I love the fact that she said that. I love the fact that she said, bring your son. And I felt like that conversation was a cool conversation. They talked to Angel about her situation. You know, she has 2 children. Neither one of the fathers are very much in their life. And she talks about how she's a single parent. But yeah, she says she hasn't always made the best decisions when it comes to men. So even though she's open to dating, she's taking things, taking things a little, a little slow. And I thought that was a cool conversation. Yeah, they talked about what happened and they talked about what was going on in the group chat. But again, I think that's natural. If you have 8 women in a group chat and 2 of the women in the group chat are fighting, when 3 of those women from the group chat get together, it's going to be a conversation about what the hell is happening in the group chat. I didn't think it was forced. It didn't feel produced. You know what I'm saying? It felt real natural. And the fact that all 3 of those women are new. Yes, they have connections. Angel's friends with Quad, and Dr. Mimi was on there last season, but she was in a very limited role last season. I love it. I loved it. I thought this was a great scene. I think that's pretty much all we got out of that scene, but I thought it was a great scene. The next 2 scenes were excellent as well. We have Simone talking to her sister. Now, first of all, Dr. Simone, hey girl, can I have that Louis Vuitton bag that you had? You don't need it. You got a closet full of Louis Vuitton. Can you send me? Hey girl, can you call me? That Louis Vuitton bag was bad. I mean, it was bad. I loved it. It was so cute. And sorry, y'all. Dr. Simone's sister, hey girl, that Louis Vuitton shirt you had on, I don't trust myself in white, but that shirt was bad. That white shirt with the Louis Vuitton logo, it was like a sheer, like white, but it had the logo. Baby, that thing was bad. Oh yeah, she was clean. Yeah, Dr. Simone's car was clean. But baby, I was like, that purse, I was like, Simone, can I have that bag? Girl, you don't need it. You don't need it. Anyway, I love this moment. We had Dr. Simone talking to her sister, and we had Cecil talking to his brother. So I'm gonna start with Simone and her sister. First of all, let me say this. And I know we don't be quoting R. Kelly these days, but there's a song that R. Kelly wrote called When a Woman's Fed Up. Simone, I'm sorry. Cecil, I'm talking to you, bro. Come here. Cecil, come here, baby. Come here. Down to the front. Come here, baby. Come here. When a woman can't say nothing other than I'm tired, baby, you in trouble. When you get to the point where all you can say is I'm tired, baby, you are in trouble. And Simone was talking to her sister. And I love their relationship. You could tell that again, this was another scene that did not feel forced. It did not feel produced. It felt real. You know why it felt real? Because it was real. Okay. I honestly do think that Simone forgot them cameras was there. And she was just having a conversation with her sister. And she was explaining to her sister, listen, they don't support me. They don't give a damn about the work that I've put in, about the sacrifices that I've made. And when I need Cecil to have my back, he is not there. And she talked about how Michael was disrespectful. Forget whether we agree or disagree with what Michael had to say. You check him for his tone. You check him for his tone and how he's talking to her. And even if you disagree with Simone and you agree with Michael, you wait till y'all are alone and you say to Simone, look, I don't think it's a big deal. Let's get the boy a car. I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the problem is. But you present a united front because your refusal to say anything said everything. Oh, Chuck said that's what he told his local boo. He said, I'm tired. Tired, baby. When you get to that, when all you can say is when she got to the end of that conversation and all she could do was cry and say, I'm tired, baby. So this is what I'm going to say about that, Cammy. Cammy said that why did she turn around and reward him with that car? We don't know the conversation that was had. Because let's be clear. If we go back to that conversation, Simone never said she wasn't going to buy that boy a car. She never said that. What she said was, I'm looking at your budget and let's make sure that you can afford whatever I'm going to help you is what she said. Michael wanted her to buy the car. To be fair, we don't know if that's a brand new off the lot Tesla or a pre-owned Tesla. We don't know if he's paying the car note on that or we don't know. All we know is he came down here and told us he got a Tesla. And I'm going to say this too, Michael. Stop taunting us. Stop, because that's what you're doing. In your mind, and you're young, Michael, you're young, so you don't see it that way. But in your mind, you're taunting the viewers who have so many opinions, and you're taunting us bloggers who have an opinion on what's going on with you and your mom. You feel like you're taunting us, but what you're really doing is undermining your mother. Because at the end of the day, remember, y'all, they filmed this. This shit was filmed a year ago. They filmed this last year. Remember, they filmed this shit months ago. It was summertime when they was filming. So matter of fact, it was Father's Day because remember in the text group, that's what Dr. Heavenly said to Toya about Father's Day. Well, make sure you thank your husband. Da 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 da. This was a year. Well, but you know what I'm saying. So what we don't know is what transpired. We don't know the conversation. We don't know how Simone and Michael reconcile, and we don't know what the agreement is. All we know is that Michael then came down here and kind of was throwing it in our face that he still ended up with a car. You know what I'm saying? Now, Simone may very well have gone to the Tesla dealership and bought him a brand new 2026 off the lot. That's fine. But we don't know. All we know is Michael was trolling by telling us, and I got me a Tesla. But we don't know what the agreement is. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors because, again, Simone never said she wasn't going to get that boy a car. She just wanted to sit down and go over his finances and make sure that they were being realistic to what he had going on. And I'm going to get to that. When I get to Cecil in this conversation with his brother, I'm going to talk more about that. Okay. Now, I think I'm done. I think I said what I had to say about Simone. All I'm going to say is, Simone, listen, baby, I feel you. Your feelings are valid. And this is what I'm going to say. And this is the part that people may not agree with and people may not like. And I think I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to say it again. In the moment, it made us feel good. That reunion where Simone said she filed for divorce and everybody said no. And they spent the rest of that damn reunion getting them back together and making them work it out. Yeah, it made us all, and I'm gonna say us, I mean everybody. It made the women feel good. It made the men feel good. It made Andy feel good. And when they showed us the reunion, it made all of us feel good. And we were like, yes, they saved a black marriage. Yes. Fast forward to 2025/26. You know what I'm saying now? We were selfish. When I say we, I mean all of us. I mean the women on that stage, the men on that stage, the viewers, everybody that applauded that, we were being selfish. And here's why I'm going to say that. Because fast forward, what was that? 5 years ago, maybe 6. I believe that Simone has been miserable for the last 6 years. I think she meant what she said and she said what she meant. Did she still love her husband? Of course she still loved her husband. Divorces don't end. All divorces don't end because people don't love each other anymore. There are people who get divorced that still love each other to death. But you know what? They don't like each other a whole lot. And I think Simone meant what she said and she said what she meant. But she allowed herself to be talked back into a space that was comfortable. And for the last 5 or 6 years, she has been unhappy. That is my opinion. I don't live with those people. I don't know that to be a fact. And I'm not saying that every day she woke up miserable. That ain't what I'm saying either. But I'm saying that I think there were more bad days than good. And I think she meant it when she said she wanted a divorce. I think she meant it the first time. And I think she means it this time. Now, whether her and Cecil are going to get divorced, child, I don't know. But I think she meant it. Ravine said, look, I gave my ex-husband a couple of chances before I said I'm out. I tried, but my happiness is more important. Folks still saying I should try more, but ever since I had so much peace and happiness. Listen, a friend of mine said that to me one time, and I had to check myself. And this was very recently, too. This was like recently. A friend of mine, because I find her and her, they're not divorced, but I find her husband, when she tells me stories, not the bad stuff, because it's easy for us to forget about the bad stuff, right? Not the bad stuff, but I find her and her husband, I find the stories amusing. And I said to her one time, something along the lines of, y'all need to just go on and get back together, or something along those lines. And she said to me, she said, you don't like me, do you? She said, because I done told you it was bad. Now, I mean, I'm telling you the stories that are funny and the ha, but if you love me, you wouldn't want that for me. And I had to check myself and say, you know what? Just because people are divorced don't mean they ain't never had no good times. Just because people are not together don't mean that they don't love each other. Just because people ain't together don't mean that they not good friends. Saving that marriage didn't make me feel good. I hope they didn't try to say that marriage again. Simone needs to move on and leave them sorry deadbeats behind. I know that's right, Deborah. Okay. Now, on the other side of town, Cecil and his brother were talking. And Cecil said, listen, now Cecil's brother is actually going through a divorce himself, and he's now moved to Atlanta. And he was talking to Cecil. He said, listen, I talked to your wife because she called me. And he said, look, I feel like she's my sister because we've been around each other. I've known her since the 90s. And in my mind, she's my sister too. And she called me. And his brother, and what I love is that his brother let Cecil talk, right? Cecil said what Cecil had to say. And Cecil talked about how their parents worked so hard and how Black people feel like their kids got to suffer in order, why they got to get it out the mud. Why, I don't want my kids to have to stand in the financial aid line. And we worked hard so our kids wouldn't have to stand in the financial aid line. And I don't want that for my kids. And I don't see that that's a wrong thing. I don't see that that's wrong. And let me say this to you, Cecil. That's bullshit. And what I mean by that is this. Ain't nobody say they wanted your kids to stand in the financial aid line. At no point in time have we ever heard Simone say she wasn't going to pay them kids tuition. We have never heard Simone say she wasn't going to cut the check for them kids for them kids to go to school. As a matter of fact, your oldest son went all the way to Howard, flunked out of Howard, had to come back home and go to Georgia State. And he still ended up graduating in the same year as his little brother, who was 2 years behind him. Ain't nobody said they was never going to pay tuition. Simone bought those boys their own condo that they didn't even have to freaking pay rent. I think the oldest son, she gave him 1 year free. And then the youngest son didn't have to pay at all because he was still in school or whatever the agreement was. So they did graduate from college without any debt. It had their own condo, and it was a nice condo. Had a view downtown Atlanta, or it looked like it was in downtown Atlanta. So at the end of the day, what we're not going to do is conflate the two. Your kids ain't struggling, and Simone ain't trying to make them struggle. The fact that your child ran up $60,000 on a credit card and Simone never stopped paying the fucking credit card bill. So stop playing, Cecil. What Simone is trying to do is get them to respect the money and get them to understand that this is not a never-ending cloud of money falling out the sky. So all that you were saying was some bullshit, Cecil. And for you to turn it into lift every voice and sing moment is bullshit, because that ain't even what the issue is. The issue is you not having your wife's back. The issue is you not supporting your wife. The issue is you allowing that child to disrespect his mother. That's what the issue is. And I honestly don't care if Cecil makes $60,000 and Simone makes $600,000. I really don't care. You know why I don't care? Because if the roles were reversed, that's not the conversation we would be having. If the man made $600,000 and the woman made $60,000, we wouldn't be talking about who makes the most money. We'd be talking about respect, and we'd be talking about them being a united front in front of those kids. So honestly, I don't know what Cecil makes. I know Cecil makes less than Simone, and I don't care. I know for some people that's an issue. I don't care. Because for me, the issue is you having your wife's back. You standing as a united front with your wife. Because yes, at the end of the day, she does bring more money into the household. But y'all are a married couple. So whatever decisions that need to be made, they need to be united. And again, if you disagree with her, you have a right to disagree with her, but you disagree with her privately. I told y'all before, I ain't never seen my parents fight. I seen them disagree. But there's been, never's a strong word. Let me not say never. There's been one time and one time only I have seen my parents argue. And I thought they was getting ready to get divorced because I had never seen them argue before. I said, damn, they about to get a damn divorce. I told y'all the story. We was in California, child. Me and my brother and my sister were in the back of the van. We were like, because we had never seen them argue like that before. And even to this day, I have seen them disagree. And the older they get, I see a little bit more now that I'm older and they're older. But as kids, there was a united front. And even if my mother would say, ask your father. Sometimes my father would say, ask your mother. And I knew that I couldn't do one without the other. You know how I knew I couldn't go to my mom and get away with shit? Because my mother was going to talk to my dad. I couldn't go to my dad and get away with shit because my dad was going to talk to my mama. The closest I came to getting away with stuff is if my mom was out of town and my dad was in charge of us, he was there, or vice versa. But if they was both in town, oh, no. I have a friend of mine whose parents have given her everything. She has lied. She has cheated. She has stolen. And her parents still make excuses for her. And her parents have built a comfortable living for themselves. They're not millionaire, whatever, you know, they're not unlimited millionaires. They're not like that. And the one thing I fear the most for her is when her parents are gone, she's going to be the kind of person that parents are probably going to leave her property and stocks and money in the bank, and she's going to be broke in 5 years. Because she don't have any respect for money. Because she's never had to. Anyway, I love that Cecil's brother let him get his piece, and then Cecil's brother told him exactly what I just said. You got to have your wife's back. You can't do this. You got to have your wife's back. Quad and King. Quad is getting ready to go to Ghana again. They're packing and they're getting ready to go to Ghana. Let me say something. I feel for Quad because Quad is dealing with, unfortunately, what a lot of women end up dealing with. And what I mean by that is Quad was in a marriage where she was choosing to not have a child with Gregory. She is now at a point where she's ready to have a child and her body is not working for her. I think a lot of women feel like they have all the time in the world. And then when they're ready, their body doesn't work for them. And Quad has the resources and the money to have the best doctors and the best resources and all of the things that the average woman doesn't have. And the reality is, if either your body's going to work or it's not. And I feel for her because she's ready for a child. She wants a child. Her and King, I think, had an honest conversation. King is over it. And it is a lot. It's a lot financially. And notice when King said, you know, I thought it would just be one and done. Like, I didn't realize we was going to keep flying back and forth to Ghana and we were going to have to keep doing these treatments. And did you hear when Quad said, well, you said all we had to do, that we can do it. We just got to work harder. She meant make the money to pay for this. Those shits are expensive. And it's expensive if you're just here stateside going to a doctor through your insurance. That doesn't include flying to Ghana and hotels and doctor's visits and all of that. This is an expensive thing that they're doing. You know, Candy said, I wonder why she didn't do egg retrieval. Again, I think a lot of women just think that it's going to work. You know, I think a lot of women, because they make it look like that on TV, right? They make it look like people have sex and they just get pregnant. Boom, and it happens. I think a lot of times we forget. Oh, hold on. Speaking of mamas, this is my mama. Hold on a second, y'all. Child, that was about to be a long one. I said, let me call you back when I'm done, child. I thought that was going to be a quick, hey, how you doing? She's talking about something. I could tell by the way she started that. She said, then I was worried because when she starts like that, she normally got bad news. And I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. But she's talking about something. She about to ask me for a favor, which is fine. But anyway, let me get back to this. I wonder if Jackie and Simone suggested it and she ignored it. Maybe. They may have. But I think that was a real conversation, and I think King is being honest, which again, at the end of the day, we need that honesty. Because without honest conversation, then we don't get anywhere. We can't get anywhere with fakeness. We can't get anywhere with the bullshit, right? Gotta have an honest conversation. But I'm gonna say this though, Quad, you better listen to what that man is telling you. You better listen to what that man is telling you. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Let's get to this purse party. First of all, I think the purse party was a cute. I think that's something, y'all know I love me a good bag, and I think that's something that would be cute I would like to. I mean, I'm sure that was an expensive thing to do because it was real leather and all that good stuff. But that was a cute activity where you make the purse. And of course, Simone was being shady because they've been fighting over this damn Balenciaga bag in the group chat. Now, I have two thoughts on this Balenciaga bag. My first thought was, who gives a damn? That was my first thought. My first thought was, girl, why are you making a big deal about a fake Balenciaga bag? Like, who cares? But then I flipped it, and I had to flip the thought onto, well, actually, this, I shouldn't say this because this is Housewives. This is not Housewives. Because if it was Housewives, y'all know we'd be like, oh, she got on fake. She got a fake, you know. But this is how I feel about it. First of all, how do we know the bag is fake, Toya? Just because you say it's fake, that makes it fake? I mean, you didn't show us the stitching. You didn't show us where there was no serial number inside of the bag. Like, you didn't show us anything. We just supposed to go by your word that the bag was fake. That's number one. Number two, it may very well be fake because we know that with Dr. Heavenly is real quick to let us know that she don't really trip over the materialistic things like that. And she would much rather put the money in her bank account than buy a name brand bag. So it might be fake. It may very well be a fake Balenciaga bag, right? And maybe Heavenly was embarrassed that you called out the fact that she had a fake Balenciaga bag. So now y'all are arguing. Now y'all arguing in the group chat. And like I said earlier in my review, both of y'all got nasty. Both of y'all got nasty, in my opinion. Now, I still think the comment about Eugene is a little below the belt. But again, Toya was nasty. Heavenly was nasty. They were arguing with each other. They get to arguing, and I noticed how the lady who, the designer, I noticed how she didn't respond, at least not on camera. I noticed how she didn't respond about whether the bag was fake or not. And I mean, you could take that either way. Either she could look at it and tell that the bag was fake and didn't want to say anything, or she could tell the bag was real and just didn't want to say. But I noticed that Toya asked her for her opinion, and I noticed how she didn't say nothing. At least they didn't show us on camera that she said anything. I'm going to be honest with y'all and tell y'all. At the end of the day, and you know what pissed me off too, is Dr. Jackie talking about something. We've never been this fractured before. I feel like I hear that every season on Married to Medicine. Am I the only one that feel like they hear this every season on Married to Medicine? Am I the only one that feel like we hear this? We've never been this fractured before. We've never been this fractured before. We've never been it. Yes, you have. Yeah. You've been that fractured before. Toya and Heavenly always arguing. What you mean? I've never seen Toya and Heavenly this fractured. Toya and Heavenly always fighting. They don't like each other in real life, period. They don't hang out when the cameras ain't rolling. They're not friends. They don't like each other, period. And that was why I said it's time for Jackie to go, because she can't even pretend anymore. She can't even pretend like she cares about this bullshit. She just can't. It's time for her to just be a friend of the show. Show her every once in a while, invite her to a few little outings, and don't put the pressure on her to have to actually film. She ain't got to be there when she don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? Because she's over this shit. Now, I guess I pretty much covered all of this earlier when I was talking about the argument and what was said in the group chat and all of that good stuff. I think the bags came out really cute. I thought that I love Dr. Jackie's bag. Her bag was real cute. Now, on the other side, the guys were talking. Let me tell you something. Y'all need to start paying these husbands on Married to Medicine like y'all pay them husbands on New Jersey, because they give us some quality shit. Those husbands film their scenes and they give us some quality shit. Let me tell y'all something. I love this conversation with the men. I absolutely loved this conversation with the men. Because those men let Eugene know your wife is disrespectful. Your wife does talk to you crazy. And yes, our wives, no marriage is perfect. But what our wives don't do is embarrass us in front of y'all. And I loved how Eugene tried to make it seem like those women said some really like how, oh, and Dr. Heavenly said this and so-and-so said that. Baby, I love how what's Jackie's husband name? I always want to call him Cecil, but I know that's Simone's husband. I love how child, what that man name? Anyway, y'all gonna put it in the chat in a second. Curtis, thank you, Lord. Curtis. I love how Curtis said, well, wait a minute. Toya gives as good as she gets. And I said, thank you so much. He said, hold on now. She gives as good as she gets now. We're not going to sit here and act like Toya don't give it like she receives it. It's not a one-sided argument, Eugene. So yes, like I said earlier, yes, I do think it was low for Dr. Heavenly to talk about your genitalia. I thought that was low. But Dr. Heavenly wouldn't have nothing to talk about if Toya hadn't said it. See, we gotta go back to the beginning. If Toya had never spoke to them women about your size, Heavenly wouldn't have it as ammunition. Which goes back to the disrespect. Because I would never, on camera or off camera, speak about my husband's being if anything, I might brag about him being too big. But I'm not going to belittle him and say it's too small. And to be fair, she didn't say it was too small. She just said that she didn't realize it was never going to get any bigger. That's what she said. And Eugene, in his confessional, had to say, it didn't make me feel good. Yeah, it did make you feel good because basically the men told you, look, your wife be punking your ass. Your wife be punking your ass. And it's uncomfortable for us to watch, and our wives would never. But when it was all over said and done, what did Eugene do? Well, I mean, we just not fake. You know, we just gonna be real, and we don't put on a fake facade. It's not about Eugene. It's not about being fake. It is about respect. The same thing I just said about Cecil. It's not about being fake. It is about respect. It is about respect. Most married couples, because I can't say all, most married couples keep their business in-house. That's not being fake. That's respect. And yes, the women have disrespected Eugene, but you know why the women have disrespected Eugene? Because Toya has shown that it's okay to disrespect him. Hold on a second, y'all. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a good episode. I loved even the scenes that weren't real, that didn't have a lot of action, were good scenes. And I thought it was a good episode. I did. So it was a good episode for me, you guys. I gotta get ready to hop off here because I gotta call my mama before the Whether You Like It or Not panel starts. You guys know we're gonna be at Scotty's house. We're gonna be at Scotty's house. And I'm only saying this publicly because T shared it publicly, but you guys know that giving you the real T is currently he was in the hospital. And just pray for him. If you guys believe in the word of prayer, just pray for my baby. Okay, he's going through a lot, and I'm only speaking of it publicly because I know he's talked publicly And he's posted on his some pictures from him of the hospital from him in the hospital. I know he's posted some stuff, so I wouldn't be saying this publicly if he was keeping it private. But just pray for my baby, okay? Y'all keep him in prayer, all right? The RBS ain't no joke. Yeah, love you, T. Yeah. I hope that's not Quad begging King on the net. Oh, child. Right. It is Toya's fault they are disrespecting her husband. She yelled about everything else. Right. Yeah. All right, y'all. Let me get out of here. I'll talk to y'all later. We will be at Scotty's house, not JoJo. So it's on my Instagram. Y'all should. I know all y'all are subscribed to Scotty. No, it's not at JoJo's anymore. JoJo is waiting on some equipment that he needs. So it'll be at Scotty's tonight. It'll probably be at JoJo's next week. Okay. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.